Frenkie de Jong has really reverted his mind and he wants to join Manchester United. Obviously, there are 1 or 2, 3 reports that have been following up for the previous 1 or 3 days that have been linking Frenkie de Jong to Manchester United, and I believe we are really going to go ahead and really talk about them and dissect it to the max. Not so? Then Joao Felix update to Manchester United. Fabrizio Romano and David Austin have latest updates as far as this deal is concerned, and we are going to talk a little bit of Jadon Sancho returning to Manchester United. There is one of our subscribers who really went ahead to ask me a question in the comment section concerning Sancho update. I'm going to go ahead and really give you a very huge or vast explanation about Sancho. So smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and obviously we are jetting into this episode that most of you are really going to love, and some of you are really going to hate it because I might be sharing the views that you really feel are in line with your opinions, but that won't stop me from doing this because every individual is entitled to his own opinion. Now, we want to hit 10,000 subscribers. Continue to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here onto this channel. Now, Jadon Sancho is the talk about town. He returned from Netherlands, and Erik ten Hag confirmed that after that win against Nottingham Forest, and he has been spotted today at Carrington, and that's how Jadon Sancho arrived at Carrington today, driving his car to Carrington. Rumors coming in, all updates coming in from Manchester United indicate that Jadon Sancho is going to continue with his individual training spell as he really gets himself ready to join the entire squad of United. So that means the entire of this week, you might see him training alone, but I believe next week he's going to be with us, and he might play part in the game of United versus Charlton in the Carabao Cup, or the game that we're going to play against Charlton over the weekend in the FA Cup. We're going to be playing Everton also at Old Trafford, so it really gives him a very huge chance to return, and he returns at a very perfect time because we we need him. We are short of forwards, and I believe Alejandro Garnacho is putting up a situation that is really so much attractive. It's good on that side because you're having lots of players who play that side. But I believe Anthony on the right attacking side of the midfield really needs a pressure from Sancho, because I believe Sancho can offer us a little bit more and get enough playing time when he's playing off the right. That's it, because we knew that we bought him as a right winger from Borussia Dortmund, and I think Erik ten Hag needs to rethink about that and get him to that position, because I would love to see United playing with 2 wingers that are really interchanging, because that swiftness helps us really confuse our enemy. If at all Rashford is playing off the left and Sancho is playing off the right, then they switch, because they can all play very well on the left and right sides consecutively, as even Rashford has gone ahead to show it to us that he can now thrive onto the right attacking side of the midfield with effect from the World Cup. Remember that run he made in the World Cup against a team called Iran, USA. You get, was it USA? I think it was. Well, so you saw how we can really make those runs off the right attacking side of the midfield. For Sancho, we know that he's just great on both sides. So I would like to see that happening. And Anthony doesn't do that a lot. I don't see him switching off to the left. He independently plays on the right and doesn't change that game of football. So I believe Sancho should be really, Ten Hag should find a way of really integrating Sancho into such a system, because the best way to go on and really confuse your enemy is to have a mobile front 3 that really is unpredictable. And Sancho, Rashford and Martial can really give it to us very well when Bruno Fernandes is feeding them from the central axis of the midfield. So the gentleman who asked me about Sancho, I think I've given you an update of Sancho. He's back at Carrington. He arrived today. He trained, by the way, on 31st. Sorry, he trained on 1st, and even today he has gone ahead to train alone. But let's wait and see whether he will have really reached the levels of Erik ten Hag to include him in the match squad today, or even over the weekend when we're playing Everton in the FA Cup, or when we are playing Charlton Athletic in the midweek. Those 3 games, I know he's really going to be play part in any of those. If he does not appear tomorrow or today, over the weekend, and over the weekend in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup midweek, you expect him to be, because I know he's really going to be a very huge pillar when you're hosting Man City on the 14th of January. So that is something that you need to know about Sancho, and I think I've really brought you up to speed if at all you never knew anything concerning the Sancho guy. Now let's get to the Frenkie de Jong story. You know, Frenkie de Jong is a player that United went in for and wanted him to come at Old Trafford for the last 6 months. We've been chasing for him, but obviously we never really got him because he had areas. So because he had some deferred wages at Barcelona and they were close to 17 million euros. United agreed a deal with Barcelona of 65 million euros up front plus 10 million euros of add-ons. Obviously, the player said no, that I'm not leaving Barca if at all you don't get me my money. But we had a story being confirmed to us by Samuel Lucas, I think like 3 weeks back, that Erik ten Hag told the outsources of Manchester United that Frenkie de Jong had confirmed to him that he wants to come to United privately, but he couldn't come out publicly and confirm it because he knew that it would have caused problems and Barcelona wouldn't have really paid him his money. Frenkie de Jong wants his money to vacate Barcelona, but we are having a very huge update coming in from Ficharges. Ficharges comes in from, I think, Spain, and they've told us that Frenkie de Jong has fully changed his mind on a transfer to Manchester United and he wants to join them in the summer. Now, why is Frenkie de Jong joining? Why is Frenkie de Jong wanting to join Manchester United? The reason is simple. He stayed at Barcelona and he expected them to really get a progress under Xavi. With the players they signed at Barcelona, he expected to go on and really see Barcelona thriving, but I believe they have not achieved their targets. They bought those players to see to it that they compete in the Champions League, but unlucky enough, Barcelona was knocked out in the group stages. They're going to play Manchester United at the round of 16. At the knockout stages, the UEFA Europa League, to see who are really going through to play in the next round of the UEFA Europa League. Secondly, the way United is thriving. And if at all you look at United play, he really sits back and says, all right, I might have made a very big mistake not to join Manchester United because a lot of progress is really at Manchester United and he sees himself really ready to play for the club. Ten Hag, I think he's always telling him, you see, you are the missing person into this project. And when he comes in throughout Manchester United, there are going to be very many questions of how he's going to field Eriksen, Frenkie de Jong, and Casemiro in that midfield. But I believe we will change the system of play, or switch Bruno Fernandes to the right, and then get Eriksen into his perfect role of a central attack midfielder. Then Casemiro and Frenkie de Jong will play in a double pivot, or switch to a diamond system of 4-4-2 with Casemiro playing at the base, Bruno Fernandes playing at the wide left of the pivot, of the diamond, with Eriksen playing on its tip, and Frenkie de Jong playing on the wide right of the diamond. And Rashford plus Antoine Martial will be leading the line in some moments if at all he wants to field them on the field of play. So it is possible, even sometimes he can bench Eriksen and let Frenkie de Jong play in the double pivot with Casemiro. And second, you can even bench Casemiro and let Frank de Jong play as a central defensive midfielder alongside Eriksen, and then Bruno plays there. So it will help us really do a lot of rotation at the club of Manchester United because it's needed. But we don't have players right now to go on and do it because Freddie and Scott McTominay are not fitting into the system of Erik ten Hag very well. Though Freddie came in through and scored a goal against Nottingham Forest in the game of Wolves, he came in and really put in a very good effort. But Freddie's consistency has always been the question that has seen him really not as one of those players to reckon with at Manchester United. But I believe if Frenkie de Jong joins us, it will be a very huge addition to Manchester United and a boost in that midfield because he plays in very many areas. You saw him play even the central defense of Barcelona in some games in the preseason because Xavi was sending him a message that you are no longer wanted here. But obviously Frenkie de Jong said, I'm going nowhere, and he really reiterated his words that I'm going nowhere. But privately, he had really told Erik ten Hag he's going to join Manchester United, and there was no reason for United to see its CEO Richard Arnold and John Mata, the football director, traveling to Barcelona to discuss a deal if at all the player had not really given them green light. That's it. That showed you that the player wanted to join, but because of the deferred wages of 17 million euros that Barcelona had not yet paid to him, that's what really failed this deal to happen. But Barcelona also let out a story that they need to offload one of the big players because they need to reduce on their wage bill of 200 million euros. I think that goes per season. So they need to reduce on their wage bill, and who should they touch on to reduce their wage bill? Supposed to be Frenkie de Jong because he earns close to £350,000 a week. That is Frenkie de Jong. So that's the button they're supposed to press, and maybe United might find it easy to bring Frenkie de Jong because we are really going to go on and really qualify even for Champions League. Another attraction that would really be considered by Frenkie de Jong to join Manchester United because the club is really lit. We're on fire and we are really focusing on the game of football. Ten Hag is taking us to the dreamland where we were when Sir Alex Ferguson was here. Then let's leave that at that, and let's dive into a story of Joao Felix. United is looking in for a centre forward, and Fabrizio Romano has told us that new direct contacts will take place this week for Joao Cancelo. Chelsea are focused on Enzo Fernandez deal. United and Arsenal have already held talks with Jorge Mendes. PSG are not in the race, meaning that this is a two-horse race, Arsenal and Manchester United. If at all you see this deal done this week, don't really get surprised because everything is possible in this game of football. In the transfers, whoever really meets the bid or meets the requisition of Atletico Madrid, he will have won the race of this guy. The rider of Real Madrid, of Atletico Madrid is really huge. They want 15 million euros of a loan fee, and then they want that team to pay all his salaries. And I find it a little ridiculous, but I believe at the level at which Joao Felix is and his talent, you know what it means. You sign him at Manchester United, he guarantees you Champions League football. He comes in with goals and assists. Obviously, because we don't have a striker, we need a player at a level of Joao Felix, but United have gone ahead and hinted of them not having money to execute this deal, something that is worrying to the fans of Manchester United because we believe that that would have been a piece of pie or a piece of cake for us to go on and really get done because it's really easy. It's really an easy deal to do, but United don't have funds to go in and really get this deal done and dusted. Even David Austin has told us that none of the clubs interested have beaten at that 21 million euro price of Joao Felix, and industry figures believe that may come down significantly as the January transfer window progresses. So United are really willing to play the waiting game, but is Arsenal willing to play the waiting game? That's the big issue. But one positive that has really slowed down Arsenal's interest in Joao Felix is simple. The way Edin Nketiah has gone ahead to start firing in goals for Arsenal. 2 games, he has 2 goals. He scored the 3rd goal against West Ham and he scored the 3rd goal against Brighton. So it looks like he is hitting the ground running, and I believe he's blowing warm in favor of Arsenal. Mikel Arteta will sit down and rethink and say, all right, maybe Edin Nketiah can take us through until when Gabriel Jesus comes in through. And if at all he fires in against Newcastle today, obviously he would have made a very huge statement that I'm the main man here, scoring 3 goals in the Premier League, yet a man who has played very many games for Arsenal is having 5, Gabriel Jesus. That will be a very huge statement, and that might really play in favor of Manchester United, that maybe Arsenal will slow down the interest of Joao Felix, knowing that maybe he can lead the line, and when they bring in Mukalo Modric, then Martinelli can also be used as a centre forward. Then Modric will be playing off the left, attacking center midfield, and there is no reason as to why Arsenal will cry in for Joao Felix when they brought in Modric at close to 80 million euros and put him on the bench. A player of 80 million euros does not sit down on the bench. He has to start. Meaning that sometimes Martinelli will lead the line and maybe Edin Nketiah will come off the bench, and I think that's how Arsenal want to go on and balance it up. So I believe United might get a blessing disguise of them remaining in this race alone, and obviously Atletico Madrid will have to dance to the tunes of Manchester United. But remember, even Morata is one of those players that is available for Manchester United. So between Morata and Joao Felix, one of those will be seen at Manchester United in the January transfer window, or Memphis Depay. There was even a story of Abaka that he is at a club that Ronaldo has joined, and obviously he is not seen as the main man. Ronaldo is seen as the main man because a player that was donning his shirt number at Al Nassr, who said no to it, he was sacked by the club and his contract was terminated to give Ronaldo that number. So Abaka, Vincent, is really worried about his position, and he might see himself make a move to the Premier League, to Manchester United, having had a very good spell at the World Cup, scoring against Brazil and really taking off his shirt, getting his second bookable offense, being booked for the second time, and obviously thrown out of the game. But he scored 3 goals in 3 games at the World Cup. Then David Olsen has told us that Joao Felix and Atletico Madrid look destined to part ways this month, with the Premier League his most likely destination. United and Arsenal are the most contenders for this guy known as Joao Felix. So let's wait and see how that is going to unfold. But I'm calling for your reactions about Frenkie de Jong changing mind to join Manchester United. Felix Joao update. Obviously, United likely to go on and really get a one-horse race, because Arsenal looks like if I don't get Mikhailo Modric, they'll be looking at other players elsewhere, because Martinelli can come in and really play that side. And even Smith Rowe has returned, so that shows you that Arsenal are really not going to give going to pay a deaf ear to that deal, because it's really expensive. 15 million euros plus the salary at 21 million euros or 16 million pounds. That is a lot of money for Arsenal, and obviously Arsenal can get that amount of money and then get in a player, because they are good at scouting. They can get in a striker who is at that amount of money. Look at Marcus Thuram, who is playing in Germany Bundesliga. He even played in the World Cup. He can go for like 6 or 7 million euros, because in the summer he's going to be a free agent. So Arsenal can find more other players, and I believe they cannot go in and really do that deal because of that amount of money included. And that's the deal. That's the reason as to why United is also in a pause mode on this deal, because that's a lot of money being called for by Atletico Madrid. Thank you very much for watching in through. I'm calling for your reactions, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because we want to hit 10,000 subscribers before this month ends. Thank you guys for watching in through. I hand you over to the Almighty Lord, and may Him bless you abundantly. Rock and David is my name. I sign out for now. See you tomorrow as United takes on a side called Bournemouth at Old Trafford in a must-win game, because Liverpool has been beaten today. If we win today, we are going to extend to how many? I think it's going to be, let me see, I want to be real. Premier League table, where are you at? Premier League. I want the Premier League table. All right. Premier League table. United is having 32 points. Liverpool is having 28. Those are 4 points apart. If we win our game today, we are going to be 7 points clear of Liverpool, one of the contenders for the 4th position in the Premier League. Thank you guys for watching in through, and we might be blessed again tomorrow when Arsenal beats Newcastle and we win. We'll go into the 3rd position. Have you even thought about that? That's all possible in these permutations that are really going to happen tomorrow. Today, it has played in our favor, and let's play to it that tomorrow we win our game of football, and then the permutations will start.